this weekend was the Commander Masters release.
Yes.
Right?
At time of recording, it just came out. What?
Yes, Friday.
5 days ago?
Yes.
Yeah.
4 days ago.
Yes.
Yes, Friday. So Friday night, Commander Masters came out, and there had been a lot of talk about this set kind of going in, some of the really good reprints and things like that. But there was also a lot of consternation about this set.
Yeah.
Largely due to the price.
Yeah, 100%.
Also, I think that one of the things that we saw was a lot of the reprints that are coming here are also coming in Wilds of Eldraine, which is dropping in a month.
It's doubling season was the big one I saw.
You know.
If there was another one, somebody in the chat will have to help me out. But yeah, doubling season I know, which something like a $90 card going into the release of Commander Masters. And then I'll be really interested to see the rate at which it is printed, because from what I saw in the announcement, which I know we're getting to this, sounded like it would be in the list, which is 1 out of every 4 set boosters. You get a card from the list, and then collector boosters. Yeah, Kelsey, to your comment there in the YouTube chat.
There's only a handful of cards with more than a collector's pack. The funny thing is we saw prices tank going into Friday for singles. Saturday they started easing back up. And there was ones I was checking Sunday, because somebody called me Saturday night about one particular single that came out of Commander Masters.
Okay.
And when I checked it Saturday night, it was $25.
Yeah.
Right? And when I went back to do it the next day, I said, I will honor the price that I quoted you, but I'm just curious, because I'm watching the fluctuation.
Yeah.
It had gone up to 36.
Interesting.
By Sunday.
Yeah.
And so so our policy at the store, we don't buy from new set for 1 month.
I like that.
Period.
For y'all as the store, because it does fluctuate so wildly.
We will break box, and we broke open a set box of Commander Masters to put into the case of singles for people that wanted to buy singles that we could get a hold of. But we won't buy secondary until at least a month, because it's going to take that long.
Yeah.
And I honestly think it's going to take till after Wilds of Eldraine drops for it to really stabilize.
I could see that.
But $400-ish for a set booster box, $325 for a draft booster, $64.99 for a collector booster.
Single collector booster.
Single
just
collector
the one.
booster pack.
Yeah.
$239 for the 4-pack box.
4 of them, yeah.
Right.
Which is that like $1 savings?
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, I'm bad at math.
Couple bucks.
Like, if it's, because $69.99, right? So yeah, it's you save a bit. You save something.
What was your first thought? Like, we talked about this a long time ago.
Yeah.
First, what was your original thought on the pricing that they put out
Sure.
for this particular set? And then now that you've kind of had a chance, because you drafted it on Saturday.
Yeah, I got to.
You got a collector pack.
I did, yes.
Okay? And so, what's your original thought, and then what's your thought now on?
Yeah.
And I know the last episode you were on with us, you talked about the fact that you have to be thoughtfully and sometimes prayerfully like, okay, I'm just going to miss out on this.
Yeah, I just have to. And
go ahead.
I'll talk bare bones with it. So like where we're at in our family is we have a budget app. It's this little thing. It's got a happy little envelope as its thing, because I don't know, people may remember there used to be a day where budgeting was just I put cash in an envelope, and when that envelope is empty, I don't have anything else to spend on that. This is a digital version of that. I get $130 a month to spend on nerd stuff. In my budget, I couldn't purchase 2 collector boosters of this pack. Of this set. So financially, just to be above board, that's where I'm coming at with it. Something I do want to take the opportunity to say, because I think the story around Commander Masters, not unreasonably, has become the price. Maybe even more than the cards. And I would say definitely more than the draft, which I'm excited to talk about what that draft was like. And I would just want to say to anybody out there listening, like, if you bought Commander Masters and you feel like the internet wants you to feel bad for having purchased that thing, like, one guy on the internet, I hope you enjoyed your purchase.
Oh,
like,
yeah, for sure. We don't want anybody to feel bad about their purchase. Don't get me wrong, like, and we're going to continue selling it and stuff like that. I'm just curious, again, more the do you think there was value at this level?
I think there could be. It's very interesting. I have, a Discord I'm a part of, where one person I know, and was talking about it in this Discord, talked about they cracked a couple boxes, I think, of collector packs, and they opened a bunch of value. foily, full art, fancy things, and all this sort of stuff. And somebody else was posting like, I just cracked a collector box and got next to nothing. I see in the YouTube chat here we have somebody saying cracked, thousands of dollars worth in boxes and doesn't seem like they pulled an awful lot.
Yep.
It's my collector pack that I got. I think the most valuable card in it was $150, and that was at time of open. When prices were at kind of a peak. And my thing is, I make a conscious choice to not feel bad about that.
No, don't.
Like, that's just something I do in my head. Because the second I get into well, that wasn't worth it, now I want to chase more. I just know that about myself.
I think that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot of players. And I think the Magic is almost counting on that.
Yes. And this is me, my tiny rebellion trying to break the system is the conscious choice I will make is to deny that voice in my head of, I missed the experience of opening a cool pack, so I must chase that experience.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that later because I think that may be affecting some of the financials.
Yeah, I can see it.
We're going to talk about that later today.
For sure. I do want to chat because you mentioned it. I really like the draft of this set. I did have the chance to draft it.
Saturday, yep.
And I drafted it to play. I didn't draft for value. I passed cards that I knew were worth quite a bit of money. Foil, full art, fancy things that was just, this doesn't fit in the deck I'm drafting, so I'm not going to draft it. That was a conscious choice that I made. And it was interesting because I got to weigh, even in my one little draft pod, I watched people drafting for value who then had a pretty miserable time playing their decks. And then I got to see people who drafted myself, and congratulations to our new store champion, drafted a fantastic deck. Like, so artfully put together. I want to be in this guy's head as he was drafting this deck because it was so artfully and thoughtfully put together. Now, the deck that he had, I thumbed through it. He let me thumb through it. I'd be stunned if the whole thing was worth more than $30 that he drafted. But the fun of drafting this set was really fun. If you get the chance to draft Commander Masters, because the draft box was maybe the cheapest box you can get your hands on, see if you can get 5 of your friends, 7 of your friends, bring it into the shop and draft it. It's a fun way to open packs.
Came in Sunday, and that was what because one of them was not feeling very well.
Sure.
And I hope they're feeling better.
Yeah.
And so they sent another friend, and they were like, hey, go buy a draft box, and
Yeah.
we'll just draft it at home.
Yeah.
Right? And I thought that was really cool. I was like,
yes.
See, that seems like the kind of thing that I would enjoy doing because of the social aspect, especially if it's all people I know.
100%.
Again, drafting, this is an interesting set to me. We had a hard time filling drafts.
Oh,
this weekend,
yeah.
right?
It was
we got
tough.
1 to fire on Friday.
Yep.
And then 1 to fire on Saturday.
And it took a while.
Yeah. And then Sunday we couldn't get 1 to fire.
Yeah.
We got like 4 or 5 people.
Yeah.
So my thing with the drafting on this set is, again, the time value of money and how people value their thing. And here's the thing. Everybody needs to value their personal funds, And this is the crappy thing is we were still the cheapest draft in town. So I was told by multiple people, and I still could, we had loads of people show up for Commander, and my thought prior to Commander Night, our normal Commander Night was, we'll peel 8 to 10 of them away from Commander Night to draft Commander Masters on release day.
You managed to peel, 3?
Yeah, and then the other 3 were new people to the store.
Well, and what was interesting about that to me was Friday we had, people I'd never seen before. One of them was they were flying out that night. And it was like they heard that the draft was happening. I think, wasn't the person right at the age limit where they are allowed to be in the store by themselves?
They were 13 years old.
Yeah, their parent dropped them off. We had a guy come out from Whidbey Island near us here. He spent hours in a ferry line because he heard that we were doing a draft that was at a price that he was interested in doing.
Yep.
But I think for a lot of people, and this is why I say the price should be a part of the conversation. For those who can, I hope they know that this is a fun draft. And for those who can't, like myself, I did my one draft of this that I was able to do, and unless somebody invites me to crack the box that they've bought and they get to keep all the cards, I probably won't be able to draft this set again. I had a lot of fun with it, and I was really glad to be able to do it.
Well, you did really well in the draft tournament.
Yeah.
You played very well.
Thank you. You know, it's
Because it came down to you and our store champion at the end.
We were in the finals there. Game 1, I mulliganed to 4. From 7 to 4. And this is, if you've never played in really competitive Magic, and it's just something you have to accept. Sometimes you're going to mulligan to 4. Sometimes you are not going to draw this. Yeah. Sometimes you are not going to draw the swamp when you need to draw it. And you know, if I drew a swamp right now, I am right back in this game and probably winning. But you didn't draw it.
Yeah.
And this is why I like to compare playing more competitive Magic to like the similar mindset that you see with people in like professional poker. Mm-hmm. They are evaluating their win-loss like over years because they understand that it's a law of large numbers thing. It's a little like baseball. You're going to win a certain number of games, you're going to lose a certain number of games, and what you do with the 50 games in the middle determines if you're a World Series contender or bottom of your division.
Yep.
You know, it's competitive Magic is a little bit like that because at a certain point, it's a stats game. You know,
oh, absolutely.
Sometimes, yeah, down to 4. And I will let myself flex momentarily. I still made that a game. It was 8-8, and then they dropped a little bit of a bomb. And like I said, nothing but credit to the way this person drafted their deck. Like, they clearly so thoughtfully put this deck together. Every card worked with every other card, worked with their commander. Like, I was agonizing over having to figure out, what do I remove? Like, I've got this removal spell in my hand, and it could be this creature or this enchantment or this creature, and all of them are doing the same thing, and they're essential to what the person's deck is doing.
Yeah.
So that's true. Yeah.
Overall, because we're 24 into this segment.
Okay.
Oh, no, we're 12 into this segment.
Okay.
We're good. Overall, we're saying it's a fun set.
Yes.
There's some cool stuff. Good to draft.
Yeah.
Interesting to draft.
Yeah.
Probably a little on the pricey side.
Yeah.
So my takeaway at the end when I got through at the end of Sunday.
The release weekend. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that if this set was about 10 to 15% cheaper, not as cheap as a normal set.
Sure.
But you figure a set booster box is approximately 3 times what a normal set booster box is for a normal set.
Round there.
If it would have been 2x,
sure,
I think that this set would have gone over better.
Yeah.
We got our WPN survey yesterday.
Interesting.
From Wizards,
okay.
And they were like,
you as the shop
yeah,
got
us
that?
as the shop.
Cool.
The shop gets it because we're a WPN store, and they said, okay, how many did you ask for? How many did your distributors give you? Because they're checking our allocations.
Yeah.
Right? What did you request? What did you get?
Yeah.
Da-da-da. How much did you sell?
Yeah.
Right? And I put down the numbers after I looked through everything, and I had to go back and look at all the pre-orders and everything else. And then I said, and then at the bottom, it always has this little question, when do you plan on reordering? I don't.
Yeah. For that product?
I don't.
Yeah, absolutely not.
So this is, I think if it was about 10 to 20% cheaper, 25% cheaper, and still been more expensive than a normal set.
Oh, sure.
I think it would have gone over way better.
Yeah.
I think if we would have been able to price decks at about 79 and not 99.
Yeah.
I mean.
Well, that's just.
That's where we would have been.
Mentally, having to think, like, I see the Warhammer pre-constructed decks right now, which still move. Yeah. When people see those on shelves, they still grab those. Those are going for 80-ish.
89.
Right, typically. Yeah. But the second in my mind, I'm having to think, I'm about to spend $100
plus sales
on
tax.
I'm about to spend $100+ on a commander deck. Like, for some people, Posty doesn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
I have to worry about that. Which, just speaking of the Magic side of things, your hobby is changing shape when NPR does a story on the financial side of Magic, like, because these are my takes. Is I read the same news as your grandparents, and that's when that it's becoming a different conversation.
Well, and here's where I know it's becoming a different conversation too, and this is the kind of the last people we'll hit on here.
Sure.
Because I had an interesting conversation with one of our distributors yesterday.
Okay.
And we're still kind of in a. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm going to have to call them after the show today. When we did our allocations, we have 3 distributors that we buy Magic from. We have our primary and our 2 secondaries.
Yeah.
One of our secondary distributors, we got most of our masters from our primary distributor,
sure,
and a little bit from both. One of them, he said, hey, take this. And I said, that's my local guy. I'm going to take what he's got in case UPS snafu, something like that.
Yeah.
So I have something on the shelf. My other secondary distributor, she called me and I said, look, I'll take the decks, I'll take the draft boosters. I can't do the set boosters. Like, they're just too much, right? And I'm not gonna sell them.
Yeah.
Right. And she said, okay, we'll pull the set boosters off the order.
Okay.
And do that. Yesterday, the distributor calls.
The same one who said they would pull them off the order. Okay.
You have to take all of them, or we're charging you a 25% restocking fee.
Wow.
Because here's the thing. What I'm hearing from the distributors is this set they're sitting on. They're in the same boat we are. They are sitting on a lot of this. And the senior management of that particular distributor said, we want this record set by the end of the day.
They want it gone.
They want it gone, or they want money out of it. Because it's bonkers.
Jeez.
And so it's hitting everybody at every level.
Yeah.
Right? Again, the problem with the set boosters, and I think what's going to end up happening is we're going to end up packing them out, right?
Yeah.
We sold people packs. Like, because people are like, it's expensive, but I'll take a
Do a pack.
I'll do
Which,
a pack.
I mean, what are 20?
20.
Okay. Yeah. Which, like, for what I could get, like, once a month, and again, I've talked about where I'm at, you know, in terms of how much I want to spend on things. I'm open, not like, steal, let's do it, but I'm open to that. As you say, like, a pack, you know. If I came home and told my wife of almost a decade, so I went ahead and spent $400 on a box of Magic boosters. There is not a couch far enough away from our home that I could be banished to for that particular action.
Oh, for sure. So I got to find out what's going to happen with that, but apparently it's at every level.
Yeah.
Like, they're sitting on it. And again, this one's...
Well, in Soltar, I agree. I see in the Twitch chat here, wanting to be a fly on the wall in the meeting where that was decided. And it makes me wonder, and it makes me pay attention, and fittingly for one of the things we're going to be discussing in a bit here, are lessons learned from this? Because I've heard you say, as a store owner, we're in Wizard's backyard. Mark, come visit.
Well, he was here on Saturday.
Wait, what?
This is the Wizards guy. He was here. He was going to draft.
I thought you meant Mark Rosewater.
No.
And I was just like,
No.
I would have heard him.
One of the Wizards reps was here Saturday.
You're right, yes.
And,
well, and you've talked about them coming in and like the conversation about aftermath of them talking to you and hearing like, yeah, we know this was kind
and
of
even on Saturday he was like,
yeah,
I don't know.
And so it makes me wonder, will lessons be learned from this?
And we're going to talk about that in a couple of topics with what's going on, but
why are you still here? It's the end of the video. You need to have liked and subscribed and hit the notification bell. Why haven't you done that yet? Your mother's very disappointed in you.